Hey friends, and welcome back to my world. My name is Dr. Briana Whiteside, and today on Academically Dope, I'm going to continue part 2 of the discussion that we started last week, and that was on the topic of CVs. So in the last episode, I talked to you about what a CV is. I also told you the difference between a CV and a resume. I also pointed out how the CV was a live document, how it's always evolving, and I gave you some things that you wanted to think about before we got to part 2 of this segment. Remember, this is a snapshot of who you are. So basically, put your best foot forward on the first page. The CV that I'm gonna walk you through is actually how my CV was structured for a research institution. So I figured it'll be easier for me to show you what my CV looks like and walk you through it at the same time. The first thing that should go up here is your header, right? Inside of your header, it should be your name, your address, your phone number, and your email address. Inside of the document, the first line you want to see actually is your education, especially when you're first starting out. You don't want to assume that people know where you went to school, what level of education you have. So I left this box here to show you how I make my document look clean. Ultimately, I use the table charts that are available to you in Microsoft Word, and I use a single one for each heading and then a double one to input the information. So under my education, I have the year on the left side and the information on the right side. 2018, I graduated with my PhD from the University of Alabama. My degree is in English literature. I also put my dissertation title here just to let people know, because I'm relatively new to the profession and my dissertation is still largely important at this point. Once you move further into your career, you may or may not remove this information. And then I have my committee members here. And when you're listing your education, you want to do the most current to the least current. So my master's education 2014, the same is for my bachelor's information. Your next title should look like publications, because publications are super important to research institutions and they want to know that you can contribute to the larger structure and the larger research agenda of the university. Under publications, I have them broken up into referee articles and book chapters, because those are the avenues through which I've published. So under referee articles, I have the most current 2019. He wanted more from himself but didn't know how to get it. Reading Jasmine Ward in the Maximum Security Prison, that's the title of the article. You can find it in the Xavier Review in 2019, pages 109 through 123. Now, some people would say that you want to give a link or a hyperlink to the article. I do not do that just because I don't want to, but I don't think there's a right or wrong way to do it. If you want to include the link, be my guest. I just don't. And then you go down to book chapters, the same is true. The year on the left side, the title here, the volume is here, the editors are here, the city of the press, the year, and then the pages on which you can find my book chapter. Then we move down to works in press as another section. I only have book chapters in press right now, which is why you don't see refereed articles. My abstract was just accepted. What should be here that's not here, and I actually forgot to put it here, is the abstract was accepted, right? So my abstract was accepted for this book chapter. As well as for this book chapter, my abstract was accepted, and also the article is due next month. But I just wanted to put abstract accepted currently. Moving down, we're still under publications, the broader publication term. I wrote some encyclopedia entries when I was a graduate student. I wrote the main essays, which are larger written pieces in the encyclopedia. And then I have the information. The reason why I have forthcoming in 2020 is because the publication route takes a long time in academia. And so you want to kind of give your readers or your reviewers a general view of when it's expected to be released. The next heading I have is other publications. Everything you do may not be academic, but it may inform your research, which is why I have a section called other publications. So I wrote an article for Memoirs of a Virtuous Woman, which is an online magazine, as well as for the Huffington Post, which talks about why my hair journey is spiritual. And the reason why these are on here is because my research directly aligns with these topics. The next thing you're going to see is grants, awards, and honors. People want to know that you can win money as well as bring in money, okay? So just recently, as you can see here, my dissertation won 3 awards on the departmental level, on the college level, and on the university level. And so those things are important to give each award its shine, right? I don't want to diminish my shine. Now, this is really important generally in the sciences to put the monetary value, but not necessarily in the humanities. But I wanted to put it on mine anyway, and it may eventually fall off. But I put the monetary value over here because all of the awards do not have significant amounts of money, and it'll probably look weird on this side. So I put it after the explanation of the award. I also have my fellowship under this umbrella that I won as a graduate student, so it released me from teaching my last year. You want to let people know that you're winning out here in these streets. So make sure you put your grants, awards, and honors under one section so that your reader can find it more easily. Are you doing digital work? Now, this is big for the humanities. People want to know, are you doing digital humanity projects? And you probably should, depending on your research agenda. But I do digital work, and it's here, and it's still in its beginning stages. So I just put it here. And then we have conference presentations. Now, your conference presentations should not just be one big list. You need to make it clear what type of conferences you are presenting at. The way that you can break this up is by national and international conferences. I'm listed from most recent to least recent. Regional and special topics conferences, as well as if you're a graduate student conferences. Help your reader read this document clearly by separating your conferences into these 3 categories. Then you want to move down to your teaching experience. Now, your teaching experience is very important. My contract is 40% teaching, 40% research, and 20% service. So, because I hold the PhD now and I am on faculty, I have my teaching experience here from 2018 to the present. And under the institution, I just have the courses that I have taught thus far. Now, when I was a graduate student teaching, it looks a little bit different. I have the university here, but I also have instructor of record because I want people to know that the classroom structure fell on me, right? I wasn't an assistant. I wasn't an assistant to a professor. I was the end all be all in the classroom. And so if you are the instructor of record, meaning that you hold the class yourself, you need to make this designation on your CV to let people know that you have taught and carry such responsibility. And then we have service. If you volunteered your time for anything and you do anything that can be counted as service, you need to put it here. And it kind of goes low on mine because service is only 20% of my job contract. But always make sure you put the organization here on the left, and then you put the information on the right. Then I have this title, Speaking Engagements, Guest Lectures, and Interviews. Now this is important because all of my research kind of marries each other at different intersections. And so I'm not only giving lectures in the academic classroom, I'm also speaking at domestic violence centers, at women's conferences inside of churches, as well as in other people's classes. So it's important that you put this information here because it's not necessarily research in a specific sense as it relates to your research agenda at the university, but it is important because it can inform your work. I also did an NPR interview, which was important for me to highlight here. And so I wanted to put that on there. Then we have my research and programming experience. I was an editorial assistant and a coordinator for several projects as in my master's program. And so this information is here. And then we have the final thing, which is professional affiliations. Are you a member of any professional organizations? You need to list those things, okay? So this is how my CV is structured for a research institution. It is longer than most, and depending on what I'm applying for, it may be shortened, but this is how it stands in its current sense, right? This is the live document that will always continue to grow. So I hope this CV workshop helped you, and as always, let me know if you have any questions because I have no problem answering them for you. All right, talk to you soon. Bye.